This is Sensor Studio, pushing the boundaries of reality. The biggest recent Japan-related issue is undoubtedly the major earthquake prediction. There's a prediction that a major earthquake will happen on July 5th. Because of this, it's become a huge issue all over Japan. Today, we'll explore the potential consequences of a major earthquake striking Japan. Let's dive in. Considering the current situation, if a major earthquake were to occur in Japan, it would most likely be the Nankai earthquake. The Nankai earthquake is a major earthquake that occurs every 100 to 400 years. This major earthquake consistently causes tremendous damage, making it a significant concern for many Japanese people. What's especially frightening about the Nankai earthquake is that it can occur together with earthquakes in other regions. During the 1707 Hoei earthquake, the Tokai, Tonankai, and Nankai earthquakes occurred simultaneously, with an estimated death toll of at least 5,000 people. It shows an extremely destructive power. Now, let's take a look at what would happen if all of these Nankai earthquakes occurred at once. Because these earthquakes occur periodically, Japan is thoroughly preparing for them. According to the Japan Earthquake Research Committee, many scenarios are being discussed. Experts predict an 80% likelihood of a magnitude 8.0 to 9.0 earthquake in the Nankai Trough within 30 years. They raised the probability from 74% in 2024 to 80% in 2025. It appears almost inevitable that the Nankai earthquake will occur. The Japanese government estimates 298,000 people will perish if the earthquake strikes. They projected the economic damage would total 29.23 trillion yen, equivalent to around 2,742.5048 trillion won. This is about 30 times the number of deaths from the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, which was 15,894, and the damage is 17 times greater than the 16.9 trillion yen, or 160 trillion won from that disaster. They predicted enormous damage would occur. What led the Japanese government to make such a pessimistic prediction? The Nankai earthquake will impact more than just coastal regions. Because the scale is so massive, not only nearby Osaka, but also Kyoto, Nagoya, and even Tokyo will be affected. It has been predicted that the Japanese economy could collapse. The Japanese government has predicted a devastating 9.0 magnitude earthquake. Given the Nankai region's earthquakes in the past 1,500 years have typically been in the low 8.0 range, the damage is unlikely to be severe. However, if the Nankai, Tonankai, and Tokai earthquakes occur simultaneously, Japan will likely suffer far greater damage than during the Great East Japan earthquake. And I also think that the damage might be a bit less than expected. The Japanese government is currently making steady preparations for the Nankai earthquake. This year, the Japanese government revised the basic plan for Nankai earthquake countermeasures for the first time in 11 years. They aim to reduce expected deaths by 80% and building damage by 50% within a decade. To reduce earthquake damage, they are building many coastal breakwaters. They are also preparing measures to minimize disruption to daily life after an earthquake, so the actual damage may be less severe than initially anticipated. Despite this, it appears the damage will surpass that of the Great East Japan earthquake. The biggest damage expected from this major earthquake will undoubtedly be caused by the tsunami. The earthquake will occur in the sea, indicating a major earthquake is likely. Let me explain the severity of the situation. Considering the earthquake's scale, a tsunami over 3 meters high is expected to reach nearly all regions of Japan, from Okinawa to Fukushima Prefecture. In parts of Kochi Prefecture, a tsunami up to 34 meters high is predicted. The Great East Japan earthquake generated a tsunami reaching about 37.9 meters, indicating a high probability of a similar tsunami striking Japan's east coast again in the future. The Japanese government predicts that most of the 298,000 anticipated deaths would be caused by the devastating tsunami, according to their estimates. The Nankai earthquake could potentially trigger an eruption of Mount Fuji. In fact, during the Hoei earthquake, Mount Fuji erupted 49 days after the earthquake occurred. The Nankai earthquake could potentially trigger an eruption of Mount Fuji. If Mount Fuji really erupts, the Japanese economy could truly collapse. If Mount Fuji erupts, it will release vast quantities of volcanic ash, lava, and pyroclastic material. Consequently, extensive damage is expected. Surrounding cities will experience direct impact, and mountainside villages will be entirely destroyed. Volcanic ash damage is expected to be the most severe, as it will spread over a wide area and directly damage crops, buildings, and roads. Above all flights heading to Japan will be completely halted, so it's highly likely that confusion will occur throughout society. I've also repeatedly mentioned that the Japanese economy will struggle due to the impact of the Nankai earthquake. The damage from the Great East Japan earthquake was so severe that some areas are still recovering today. Recovery is mostly done, but in places like Fukushima, restoration continues in restricted areas due to the damaged nuclear plant. The Great East Japan earthquake caused an estimated 16 to 25 trillion yen, around 250 trillion won, in direct damage. This was about 0.5% of Japan's gross domestic product at the time. The total damage, including indirect harm from destroyed infrastructure like factories, roads, and ports, is expected to be even greater. As a result, Japan's economic growth rate dropped to minus 0.9% in 2011. If the Nankai earthquake occurs, the damage is expected to be even greater. As explained earlier, the expected damage is estimated at 2,742 trillion, 5.048 billion won. If this damage occurs, not only Japan, but also neighboring countries like Korea, China, and Taiwan will be affected. Currently, numerous Korean firms rely heavily on equipment and materials from Japan. However, if a major earthquake strikes Japan and completely halts its manufacturing industry, it will cause substantial economic damage. A supply chain collapse is likely to trigger a semiconductor supply emergency. The extent of damage to Korea remains to be seen. Since it happens so close to Korea, there could be direct damage as well. In Jeju Island or Busan, magnitude 3 to 4 tremors could likely be detected, potentially causing tsunami damage. The 2011 Great East Japan earthquake Tsunami reached Korea, although it was only 10-15 centimeters high. If a larger and closer Nankai earthquake occurs compared to the Great East Japan earthquake, an even bigger tsunami could reach us. Of course, the damage Korea would suffer would be more emotional than direct. As Japan is a major trading partner with Korea, if the Japanese economy is shaken, Korea will definitely feel the impact, and the Korean economy is expected to take a big hit as well. The international community will also respond immediately. As the world's third largest economy and a globally influential nation, if a catastrophic event like the Nankai earthquake strikes Japan, the United Nations foreign governments, private relief organizations, and international NGOs will all respond. During the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake rescue teams from Korea, the United States, France, Germany, China, Australia, and other countries rushed to Japan. Korea's 119 rescue team and rescue dogs were deployed to save people and search for the missing. Amid major disasters, universal human values emerge, momentarily overshadowing conflicts between nations. But it won't end with a happy ending like this. The issue lies with China once more. Natural calamities such as earthquakes can become factors that impact not only simple disasters, but also the geopolitical landscape. China may see the Nankai Great Earthquake as an opportunity to strategically exploit the temporary weakening of Japan's naval and air forces. Ports like Yokosuka will suffer significant damage from the epicenter of this earthquake. If this occurs, the United States forces in Japan and Japan will temporarily lose naval operational capabilities. Additionally, the Japanese government will likely prioritize addressing the damage from the Nankai earthquake. If China shows any military action during this process, it could really lead to a disaster. If China were to invade Taiwan now, the most discussed scenario, we might be unable to prevent it. Of course, the chances are really slim, but China might see this as an opportunity. As mentioned earlier, if Mount Fuji erupted, Japan's air force capabilities would be instantly paralyzed. The volcanic ash could neutralize Japan and the United States' air support capabilities by preventing aircraft use. If China were to invade Taiwan while maintaining air and naval superiority during this window, things could unfold just the way China wants. If this happens, the balance of power in Asia will be greatly shaken. If the Nankai earthquake occurs, there will definitely be major changes. A major earthquake now, during the new Cold War era of international turmoil, would lead to even greater changes. The Japanese government is currently doing everything it can to reduce the damage from the Nankai earthquake. Even if the Nankai earthquake occurs, I hope it doesn't cause major damage. The best thing would be if the earthquake doesn't happen at all. What do you think would happen if the Nankai earthquake were to occur? Please let us know in the comments as well. That concludes the video. Thank you.